Hey everybody, welcome back to Nomads Nation. Today we're going to be reviewing the CTactical CT14 Plus. So if you don't know, here at Nomads Nation, we've been reviewing travel and EDC gear for over 7 years. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to decide if this is the bag for you. I'm going to pack it out, double check its advertised capacity, and give you my brutally honest pros and cons and overall scores. And if you're not feeling the CT14 at the end of the video, I'm going to make 2 alternative suggestions that might be a better fit for you. Let's jump right into it. So if you don't know CTactical, they're a pretty interesting company. They started out as like an OEM vendor making bags for other brands. But then they started realizing they could do their own thing, right? So I think the main thing they're known for is just pure value for money, right? They're like the ones that are basically making the bags, so they give you everything at pretty much almost close to cost. Like I would assume their profit margins got to be lower than a lot of these other bag brands out there. So overall, like the main proposition for CT is value. So Aaron's had me testing out this bag for like the last month or so. So I've been bringing it every single day to the office, carrying my laptop in it and my normal EDC gear. In terms of the key features of the bag, I think the main thing most people will notice, it's got a kind of tactical look to it. So it does look very sleek. There's no like dangling bells and whistles or anything on that. It's just meant to be a compact, sleek looking black bag. The other thing I think CTactical is really known for is the Velcro patches. So if you're a person who really likes patches, this is probably a good bag for you. It's got this cool bright orange lining, which makes things really easy to see. And you got a bunch of latch points pretty much all over the bag that you can use to, if you like to clip things onto the bag. That kind of aligns with that tactical feel they're going for. You got 2 water bottle pockets and some pretty beefy, comfortable shoulder straps. They're quite thick, but they're not as plushy as some of the other ones I've used. And you got some nice ventilation on the back panel. So next we're going to test out the volume of the bag. So the name of the bag is the CT14. So you would probably assume that means it's a 14-liter bag. Sadly, that's not the case. Okay, this is actually a 25-liter bag. And the name comes from the fact that it can fit a 14-inch laptop. While we got the bag fully packed out, we're going to quickly check the dimensions. So first up, let's see length. We're sitting at about 17.5 to 18 inches there. Okay. And on the width, we're looking at about, I would say, 12 inches in width, maybe 11.5. Okay. And then depth. Okay. So this is probably a little wider than most, but it's at about 7 to 7.5 inches, I would say, in depth. All right, now let's see if the volume matches up with the 25 liters that CTactical claims. I did the best I could to fill up this bag as much as I could, right? I filled out the front pocket, the admin panel, and the main compartment. But it looks like we didn't hit that 25-liter capacity that CTactical was claiming on the website. I will be honest, I didn't fill out things like the water bottle pockets and things like that, so it's possible that it would reach the full 25-liter capacity. We are pretty close. So now that we got the bag fully empty after testing the volume, now let's quickly measure the weight. So we got 2 luggage scales here, and we'll give it 2 different measurements to see if it aligns with what CTactical says, which is 2.9 pounds. This one's coming in at 2.87, so slightly below what CTactical's claiming. And the second test, there we go, 2.86 on the second scale. So if you're a big fan of colors, unfortunately, you're going to be a little bit disappointed with this bag because it only comes in this exact configuration. So this material and this color. So black is the only available color. So this is what the bag looks like empty, and this is what the bag looks like on the rest of the Nomads Nation team. Just for reference, I'm 5'10", or 179 centimeters, and Jason Bagmoa over there is 6'2", or 188 centimeters. According to their website, they give a 1-year warranty on the bag, and it comes in at around $115 US. If you do like this bag and you do think you're going to make a purchase, we recommend you do so with the link in the description. That makes sure you get the best price, and oftentimes we have discount codes that are exclusive to the Nomads Nation channel. All right, now let's talk about the materials. For the main material of the bag, it's ripstop nylon 420D. So this is a pretty light material and it feels pretty smooth to the touch. And just like all other ripstops, it's pretty penetration resistant. If you guys don't know, we're based in Hong Kong, so I've been using this bag for the last few weeks and it's been raining quite a lot here. So the water resistance has done quite well for me. I've been traveling with my laptop, so that getting wet would be a problem. And I'm often the person who always forgets to bring an umbrella, so I've even had to use this bag as like a rain shield a few times. And it's done a great job. The water resistance is pretty top notch. I've never had anything within the backpack ever get wet, despite the fact that it doesn't really have the AquaGuard zippers or anything or the more advanced water resistant features that you see on other bags. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick spray test for you here just to show you the water resistance of the bag. And as you can see, water pool like just beads and rolls right down. So nice water resistant. So for the zippers, they are pretty nice. They're smooth. They glide very nicely, and they are YKK zippers, just like every other brand in the space at this point. And you can see they do have some zipper pulls on them, which are convenient and very usable. I do think they could have went a little more premium on these, just because they don't give that kind of really nice sensation you get with some other bags where it just feels nice to use the zipper pulls, which you don't get here. Okay. The top handle's a little thin, to be honest. Like I actually do like it. It's usable. It gives you a lot of room to get your hand in there, which one thing that drives me crazy is a really tight top handle. So this gets the job done for me, but it doesn't have the like nice plush padding that a lot of other bags have. So like if you're looking at something like, I don't know, the reworked Toshi, that has a very nice top handle that's like, actually, it feels nice to grab it. So one other thing that is like a bit of a little con for me in terms of the materials is I think they added a pretty rigid bottom panel here, which is because they obviously want the bag to self-stand, which it does do a good job of, to be fair. However, it does give the bag a kind of dimpled look, you might notice. So when the bag is not fully packed out, sometimes the bottom panel actually sticks out more than the backpack itself. So it kind of gives it a weird like concave shape. If you're someone who packs out your backpack all the time, this will never be an issue. But for me, I'm someone like I think I might have mentioned in previous videos, I am the kind of guy who underpacks. So sometimes this backpack was relatively empty for me, and it's not a great look when it's like that. When it's fully packed out, I think it looks super clean, super sleek, but when it's empty, it's not the best. So for the materials, if I was gonna give it a score, I actually do think they did a good job, especially at this price point. So I would probably give it a 4 out of 5. And as a disclaimer, as always, these scores are my personal opinion, not even the rest of the Nomads Nation team, just my scores. Now it's time for the Packout. So this is like a general approximation of my EDC. So I do travel with a laptop almost daily. I do carry things like a book, headphones, but like I said, I'm not somebody who really packs things out, so I'm gonna go a little bit above what my normal EDC would be here. So let's start packing out the bag. I think the first thing I'll start out with, of course, is the laptop, right? So as this is the main thing I'm carrying day to day. So they do have an interesting approach here. So you have the main laptop pocket here, which you can access through the clamshell main compartment opening. Or, I've never seen this before, they have a separate opening on the side. So if you want to quick access the laptop, you can also just pull it out through here, right? So you can keep it, you can either put it in and out through this hole, or you can put it in through the main compartment. Okay, so that's a bit of an interesting feature that I actually kind of like. I do like a bit of versatility in a bag, so that is interesting to me. So the bag is named the CT14 to be able to hold a 14-inch laptop. But just looking at this, I feel like we're probably gonna be able to fit something bigger in there. Okay, so let's try real quick with the 16-inch laptop. So this is a cutout of a 16-inch laptop, a 16-inch MacBook. All right, and honestly, that fits in there really well. I think you might struggle on the side pocket here. Yeah, that's not gonna really work. But if you did need to carry a 16-inch laptop, you could put it in through the main compartment. You have a nice little tablet pocket here, which we'll throw an e-reader in, just for fun. And then we'll start packing out the rest of the bag. So we got some headphones, a book, maybe let's throw a hoodie in here. I know you guys are gonna yell at me for not folding this, but it's okay. I'll put a tech pouch in here and screw it, let's put one more. Okay, so this is definitely more than I would be carrying, but able to fit in there without too much issue, it seems like. Okay, just get the zippers out of the way. And I think we're good. Easy, right? So that's a lot of stuff in there, including now a 16-inch laptop. Okay, so pretty much able to fit what I could fit in a normal 20 to 25 liter bag. Then let's throw some stuff in the admin pockets. So just for fun, throw my keys in there. Maybe, I don't know, phone somewhere else. Phone we could throw in there as well. All right. And I honestly don't really have anything with me for this, but we also have a full admin panel here, which again, you got some more pockets here. You got some other pockets over here you could throw stuff in. But do be careful because this does share some capacity with the main compartment. So if you're putting some bulky objects in these mesh pockets over here, these probably are going to bulge into the main compartment. But you do have a lot of organization here, which I think is great because I'm somebody who's always carrying a lot of like little medicines and things like that. So I can imagine throwing like some Advil in here and stuff like that, okay? Just to test to see if like this takes up some capacity from the main compartment, I'm just gonna throw my sunglasses in here. And they're not that bulgy, but let's see if it has any impact on closing it, right? So it does seem like it's able to close, but you can see there is a quite noticeable bulge from where the sunglasses are, right? Because that pocket really doesn't have much volume on its own. So it's either gonna bulge this way or it's gonna bulge into the main compartment. And finally, we also of course have the top access, the top zipper pocket as well. So this is probably again where you're gonna put your sunglasses and stuff like that. But again, this pocket shares capacity with the main compartment, which we can see if we open things back up. All right, if we look at the main compartment, all right, you can see this is that pocket, the capacity for that pocket. So if you really stuff this, you are going to be taking away capacity from the main compartment. I personally carry, like I don't really have my backpack as packed out as this, right? So I can usually put my sunglasses, keys, or small things in there, which I do quite often. One thing also that I did notice that happens to me frequently with this bag, I mix up the admin panel and the main compartment zipper all the time. That is kind of something that bothers me about the bag because the amount of times I just want to quick grab something from the main compartment and I don't notice I've fully opened the admin panel where I don't have anything in there. So it's kind of a bit of a friction point for me, I would say. But overall, yeah, I think the functionality of the bag is pretty good. And just as a quick example of the use of the top pocket, I'll just throw a little power bank in there. And even still, like, because we have the backpack so fully packed out, I can feel it hitting the laptop actually. Okay. All right, so next we're gonna test out the water bottle pockets. So the water bottle pockets on this are actually expandable. So they have a zipper that you have to unzip if you want the full capacity of the water bottle pocket. Okay, so first let's test it out with a smaller one. All right, so that has no, I would assume no issue going in, but surprisingly tighter than I would have expected. So considering the pocket is expandable, I would have thought it would have had no issue with this. But to be honest, wasn't easy to get that in, okay? So I think we're really gonna struggle now with this bigger one. So let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's happening. Ooh. Yeah, it's not happening, okay? So this one, definitely too big. So I will say, I'm a little surprised by that because I actually thought, like I had no issue using these, but I don't really use a water bottle this big. So I've been having no issue putting normal water bottles in there, but it's tighter than I actually realized. So like this even is a bit of a struggle. Again, you can see this is really bulging here a bit. So that's probably max capacity that you could probably get for a water bottle. So this is a 22-ounce bottle, so it's not like a massive bottle or anything like that. This, on the other hand, is a full liter, right? So this is almost double the size of this one. So it makes sense, I guess, that this one fits, but this one is not gonna fit. If you're using like a giant 1 liter or 1.5 liter bottle, this is probably not the bag for you. So like we talked about earlier, this bag does have a very firm bottom panel. So in terms of self-standing, if that's an important thing for you, this bag does a great job of that. And I can tell that that was something they really built the design of the bag for. All right, so next let's jump into the overall comfort of the bag. I do think it is pretty comfortable. It's like a nice overall feeling bag. So first let's talk about the straps. So the straps are very plush and they do have some mesh on here that gives you some, I guess, cooling factor that makes it not feel as hot when you're wearing it. And I would say that like they're very thick, but you can tell they don't feel like as premium of a material as some of the other big brands out there. I do think the foam is nice, but it's a little stiffer than I would imagine it to be. Maybe that eventually will wear in over time. If you use this bag daily for like a year or something like that, these might get softer, but I do think they do feel stiffer than I would have thought. Still comfortable, but just not as plush as some of the other bags out there. In terms of ventilation, you got a lot here. So you got a big ventilation strip going down the back of the bag. So that does give you some comfort and does keep the main like back panel from really touching your back and give some airflow. Yeah, so overall in terms of comfort, I think it's pretty good, but not like the best in the world. So like I said, now I got a laptop in here and a bunch of stuff. Feels pretty comfortable. I have no issues. So it actually, yeah, feels like I'm wearing nothing right now. It does have a nice sternum strap, and I actually did end up using it because I'm one of those like ADD people that just, if it's here, I'm gonna like play with it. So I did end up using it quite a lot. But one thing I did notice is like, it kind of bounces a lot. So like, you probably should keep it like this, but then it's kind of like unusable, right? So I did end up leaving it like this, and then it just dangled a lot when I was walking around, but that's just my fault, honestly. And in terms of like overall dangle with this bag, I don't think it's actually a pretty big, it's not really an offender or anything like that. It gives you all the tools to like stow things away, like with the dangle stoppers here at the bottom of these straps, and the sternum strap is actually removable if you don't want that dangling on your chest. So in terms of score, I did like wearing the backpack and I did like using it. But did I really feel like it was like one of the most comfortable bags I've ever used? And I'm gonna have to say no. So I do think it's good, it's not bad. So I would definitely give it, I would feel most confident giving it like a 3.5. Because it's definitely not bad, but I don't think it's really reached like the top tier yet. All right, and just a quick reminder before we jump into the next section, if you're new to the Nomads Nation channel, we just want to tell you about the Nomads Nation newsletter. So every week we send out limited collaboration offers, exclusive discount codes, and we let you know about the newest bag drops in the market. So if you're interested in signing up and you're a bag nerd like us, check out the link in the description, look for the globe emoji and sign up there. So functionality-wise, I do think the bag works largely as intended. I think, for example, this pocket in the front does actually have some of its own volume, which is quite nice. So this is actually a very usable pocket. But I will say the admin panel is a little bit on the trickier side, just because it does, again, share some capacity and it does tend to bulge out into the front, okay? So overall though, I think everything works as it's supposed to, just maybe not as perfectly as it does on some other bags. Like for example, on some bags you won't get this bulge, but this one you do. I will say also that the water bottle pockets, while they work, I do feel like the zipper expansion thing, it does feel a little gimmicky because it doesn't really give that much extra room. It is good to have, obviously, because these would basically be non-functional at all without these, but I don't really see the need for a zipper here. You probably could have just had a more flexible water bottle pocket. Yeah. And it's probably one of the first bags I've seen where the zipper on the water bottle pocket goes all the way to the bottom here, but that doesn't really help add any more volume to the pocket. But one other thing I think is very cool, I have never really seen this feature before of having the laptop pocket have 2 access points, like from the side and from the main compartment. I do think that's pretty cool, and it does work as intended if you're using a 14-inch laptop. And just testing the laptop pocket, like while we're on the subject, it does have a false bottom, so let's see how it performs with a quick drop test. So ready, let's see if we hear a loud noise. 1, 2, 3. It was loud, but it wasn't bad. I feel like that was a normal thud though. It wasn't like hard on hard, right? So I actually think that made a bit of a loud noise, but I don't think that was the laptop hitting the table. That's just the overall weight of the bag. We would have heard a bit of a sharper knock if that was the laptop. So I think the false bottom, again, performed as intended. So I do feel like the padding overall is pretty good on the bag. So I actually do think my laptop would feel pretty secure here. I would feel comfortable just like whipping it around even with my laptop in it. And one thing I did not mention earlier is that the bag does actually have a luggage pass-through that you might not notice because it's basically the entire ventilated back panel. So basically you could stick your luggage through here and that would basically function as the luggage strap. All right, so now let's give that luggage pass-through a try. So I personally am one of those people that actually weirdly likes the horizontal luggage pass-throughs. So this actually functions pretty well. It's a little bit cumbersome trying to get the thing to go through this pass-through, like as opposed to just a small strap, but it was easy to put on, so no issues there. I personally am like a weird person that likes the horizontal luggage pass-through. I understand that the vertical one is a little more functional because you can get the stuff out of it, but I always feel like it interferes with my ability to hold the handle of the luggage. So for the overall score on the functionality, I'm gonna be a little bit harsh on them just because of the water bottle pockets. To me, I know this is a very important feature for a lot of people. So the fact that you can't fit a larger water bottle in here without like ramming it in there is kind of an issue to me. Otherwise, honestly, everything else functions pretty well. Like the straps work, the luggage pass-through works, the false bottom on the laptop spot is good. This little side pocket with this quick access for the laptop is cool. So I don't want to ding them too much on that, so I'll give them again a 3.5. So now I'm going to give you my honest pros and cons about the bag. So pro number one, I would say, is just the material of the bag. I do like the material. I like the look of the bag. Like realistically, when you are wearing it, it is quite like a sleek, nice looking, slim profile black backpack, right? So it just looks nice in most scenarios. And I think while it's not like the most professional looking bag, I think you could easily get away with bringing this to the office, even in the most conservative kind of settings. Another little pro, I think, is personally not one for myself, but I always think it's cool. I think the patch ecosystem is very cool. I've never partook in it, but I always think it would be pretty fun to swap like different patches in and out here and there if that's your kind of thing. And next up, I would say comfort. Like I didn't give this bag the highest score, but it is a comfortable bag. Like I have no problems with it. Like I just think, is it the best in the market? No, right? But it is overall a comfortable bag. And final one I would say is this laptop zipper. I actually find this quite cool. I never really used it, but I actually found it just interesting to use it once in a while. Like I always, because like I said, I'm the kind of person that doesn't have the main compartment like full to the brim. But if you are the person that travels with a full backpack all the time, this is probably gonna be a lifesaver for you because of this, like otherwise you have to basically take everything out to get the laptop out. This gives you quick access to that laptop pocket without having to empty the stuff from the main compartment. All right, now let's jump into some of my cons for the bag. So like I said earlier, my first one is obviously gonna be that water bottle pocket. Because with the zipper expansion, I tend to have higher expectations. Because most of the bags that have this usually have some kind of mesh here that like really gives some flexibility to this pocket. This one is more rigid than I expected. Okay, so con number two is gonna be this self-standing thing here. While I love the self-standing, and that's a great feature for a bag to have, I don't feel like they went as hardcore on that here because of this dimple here does look kind of ugly sometimes. And like I said earlier, if you're the kind of person that doesn't fully pack out their bag, this is always gonna be there, okay? So if you are someone that packs out the bag, you'll never see this, but it's a pretty big con for me. And final one, while I do like the shoulder straps and I think they are comfortable, like I said, the mesh is a bit scratchier than I would have expected. So it doesn't give you that kind of plush, nice feeling when you put on the bag. I mean, but if you're the person that's just looking for like a functional backpack and you're not looking for like the premium plush quality materials, it's a great backpack for you. But for me, as someone who tries out like backpacks all the time, it's noticeable for me. Time for the overall scores. So before we go into the overall scores, I'm gonna give you one final metric for us to use in our calculations, and that's gonna be the value of the bag. So basically this bag comes in at 115 USD, which is well below a lot of bags at this size and with these materials. So in terms of value, I still don't think it's a 5 out of 5, but this is really where CTactical shines. So I'm really gonna give them a 4 out of 5 on the value. So before we give you the overall score on the CT14, I'm gonna just give you a recap of all the previous scores I did earlier in the video. So the first score I gave it was on the materials, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. On the comfort, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. On the functionality, I gave it a 3 out of 5. And on the value, I gave it a 4 out of 5. So my overall score on the bag is actually gonna be a non-round number, and it's gonna be a 3.6. So I do think CTactical is like a very cool company, so I do recommend you give them a shot. Like they're definitely worth considering because purely from a value standpoint, they give you premium materials at a non-premium price. So I think they are an interesting brand to keep an eye on. I do think this one is a great fit for a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people in my office have even asked me about the bag because they like the way it looks. So if that's like this look is your kind of deal, then this is a great bag for you. So when Aaron first told me to try out this bag, I'd actually heard a lot about this brand. So I kind of knew what to expect going in, and it did kind of meet my expectations. So like I said, it's good materials at a not ridiculous price. So I am pretty impressed with the brand overall, and I do look forward to checking out some of their other gear. So if you've made it till the end of the video and you're really interested in this bag, you decided you're making a purchase, we recommend you do so with the link in the description because that helps support the channel and ensures you get the best price. And we often have discount codes that we can share with you. So one final reminder as well, if you're new to the Nomads Nation channel, we recommend you check out our leaderboard video, which is a cool little thing we do here at the channel with the full team, where we all pick out our favorite bags in different categories and just basically put together a leaderboard. Now let's jump into some alternatives to the CT14. All right, and one last thing, if you don't know, the team at Nomads Nation has also launched its own backpack brand called Firo, where we focus on keeping professionals focused and at the top of their game. If you want to check it out, you can click the second link in the description below, or you can go to the website at firo.co. But if we're really close with this bag, the CT14, and you're looking, but it's not quite meeting the mark, then here's some alternatives that we would recommend if this is almost there for you. All right, so my first alternative for the CT14 is gonna be the Carry Max EDC. So I'm gonna be honest with you, this is definitely a more premium backpack. So this is coming in at a much higher price point, but it does give you a lot of the same features that the CT14 would give you. It's a big backpack, 26 liters, and this front pocket is something a lot of people really love, including me, because I own one of these myself. Because I use this basically for storing my running shoes in here, which is really convenient. But I do think it gives you that kind of same, especially with this color, it gives you that kind of military feel that the CT14 does as well. This is a very popular bag, and it comes in 6 different materials and color combinations, including black if that's your thing, and that's actually what I have. But yeah, this would be a great option for you if you're looking to possibly spend a little bit more money and get something a little more premium. So my other alternative for the CT14 is going to be the GoRuck GR2. The reason I chose this one is because it has a lot of the same kind of DNA that the CT is going for. So it's a former military company, so they make gear that looks very militaristic and tactical with lots of latch points and patches and things like that. And I think, honestly, that CTactical took a lot of inspiration from GoRuck. So the bag comes in 5 different colors, and it's made of 1000D Cordura. So this is a very strong material, and it does not feel as soft and silky as some of the other bags out there. But that's kind of what they're going for with the kind of more military approach to the bag. But one real serious caveat to this bag is that it comes in at a much higher price point. So if you thought the Carry was expensive, this one's gonna blow your mind. So this typically comes in at around $375, which is really near the top of the premium bag price range. So if you're looking for something that's really military, very tough, this will get the job done. But just some also things to keep in mind. It's a heavy bag, it's pretty expensive. So if you're looking for something on the cheaper side, CT14 is a great option. All right, I just want to thank you guys for watching till the end of the video. One final reminder, if you do want to make a purchase, check out the links in the description. All right, thanks for watching and have a good one. Bye.